This segment is entitled "A Friendship is Based on Trust." Friendships are built on trust, and we all know that. I just want to go over quickly, first of all, if you elect me to office, I will only work for you. I have no political donors. I have no other ulterior motive. I'm an experienced, capable person, and with owning my own business for 18 years and working with international corporations and organizations in Africa. I'm an excellent diplomat as long as I'm not lied to or misled. I will stand my ground and do what's right for people of this town. It's incapable of people to push me around to do anything other than the appropriate steps that are needed to develop this town. I will not bend under private contractors' pressure. I will not bend under political pressure. And you can count on me to do what is right every single day. Let's look at the friendship and what it's based on. Just real quickly, think about what's happened these last few months from this administration. First of all, we were misled on many fronts. Big, basically lies. First, they said we couldn't use the federal money in our bank account, the $250,000 to fix up Pinegrove. Then after the vote, when they lost the vote, we found out we could use it. And by the way, we're getting an additional $250,000. We'll have almost $500,000 in the account come June. Then they sent out mailings and flyers saying that Pinegrove is unsafe, which is totally untrue. Then they released, everybody kept repeating, we only own 5 feet around the building. We don't even own our bocce courts or parking lot. Just a tiny little bit of land. We have nowhere to expand. What can we do? We have to move. That was completely debunked and turned out to be one of the most enormous lies of all. Repeated constantly by Ms. Heyman and Ms. Aldersley as recently as March 2009. Then they also said there's insufficient parking. That's untrue as well. There's enough parking for 300 people there. More parking than we would have had at Kings Park. We have the spots on our side and also on the Helmer side, and they bring the kids there on a bus. So they don't even need those spots during the day. They also use our parking area for lacrosse games and soccer games, so it's a symbiotic relationship. In addition, there have been a number of other areas we've been misled on, again and again. What I'm seeing at the most egregious of all is the actual monthly town board meetings. I see them for what they are. They're basically infomercials. In one of the very first one I attended after they tried to stall or did stall the project, Ms. Heyman read her own email into record, and she'd sent me that email the day before, and it didn't make any sense to me. I didn't understand why she even sent it. It wasn't what we were discussing, very self-aggrandizing, and she took quite a bit of time to read that into record, so people would think I have no idea what. Then she paraded the chief of police up in front of there and made him say that basically Pinegrove's unsafe, that there's vandals there, and you're going to be, I don't know what they're trying to imply, that you're going to have problems there, your physical well-being, which is totally untrue. Kids just go there and hang out. And then he talked about how safe Kings Park was, conversely, which doesn't make any sense. Everybody in Irondequoit knows that. I was told again and again that things would proceed. They were stalled. We all look at let's look at the boiler, for example, the HVAC boiler. One of the biggest, the next meeting when they finally brought Labella back in and paid him all that money, I had sent emails to every single town board member the day before, that night, actually before the town board meeting the next day. So they had about 20 hours to look over that information I sent them. I went point by point and pointed out all the egregious errors and overbids on every single issue. They all had the exact same information sitting in front of them. All they had to do was ask a few simple questions, and Labella would have gone home. In fact, I would have fired them after I received the initial report and sent them packing. So there has to be another reason as to why they were so eager to adopt all their different ideas. The most important part to remember is they used the word critical imminent in their study. That meant you had to do it immediately. They wanted us to go in there at critical imminent to replace the boiler pipes, asbestos removal, and what have you, and air conditioning, what have you. it would have run, if you totaled their quote blended system that they promoted, $400,000 to put a new boiler and pipes and remove asbestos, and another 400 and some thousand for just air conditioning. The fact remains, you can get a professional installation of a commercial grade HVAC system, massive, even larger than the one they recommended, for including brand new electric for $90,000. That means they were proposing an $800,000 system that should only cost $90,000 at most. That's shocking. Okay, something's going on. Now, if you go back and look at that board meeting, you'll see her asking all these leading questions of Monroe Pipe. Well, what if we put it on the ground? Won't that create a gaping hole in the wall, she says to Monroe Pipe. Monroe Pipe responds accordingly, why yes, Miss Heyman. Vandals could take a crowbar, pry that ductwork out of there, then somehow cut through this and that and get inside and steal what, our bingo cards? Meanwhile, the whole place is filled with windows. Why would you go through all that trouble when you can smash a window and walk right in? I mean, it made no sense. Oh, then she says, can't you go on the roof? He says, no, of course you can't. You know, it's snowy in the winter. Well, every contractor in Rochester works outside in the winter, and they don't charge you extra to service your HVAC system on the roof during the winter. The roof is basically flat as well, so it's not dangerous. Then Debbie Evans finally asked one of my questions off the list. She said, can't you just leave the 10,000-pound boiler in that tiny little room, flush the pipes and turn it off and disconnect the electric, and just leave it there and put a new HVAC system in? If you look closely at that tape, you'll see the Monroe Pipe representative. It looked like somebody hit him in the head with a ball-peen hammer between the eyes. Somebody's $250,000 of asbestos removal just went down the toilet, and somebody's not getting a vacation home in Cancun or the Caymans.